Dead by Daylight put out a quality of life initiative in 2025, and I kind of want to give my first impressions, so let's get into it.
So the approach we're taking is going to be split into two phases. If you want to toss up the graphic, phase one begins with our upcoming release on April 2nd, and will run up to and include our anniversary release. Then phase two will include everything that comes after anniversary for the rest of the calendar year. All of these issues will be meaningfully addressed in the coming months.
So they don't really talk about it here. Okay, let me go ahead and check that out. All right, so when talking about the surrender state, they say the team has been working on the surrender feature, which should limit player frustration on both sides. To get it right, we first need to identify the situations that would be most appropriate, leading us to two scenarios. All remaining survivors have been slugged for killer, and then all remaining survivors are bots for killer. Okay, once these instances occur, player will be able to use the surrender option, ending the trial while retaining the blood points they've earned and escaping the disconnect penalty. That is nice. That is good. That is a good quality of life change. So like the survivors can opt out, and then the killer in turn can opt out when it's all bots, and then you retain the blood points. Now the question that I have with this is, are you able to surrender and then you count as 4K'ing all the survivors? And if you're a survivor, you get escape points. Well, survivor escape points would make sense, but like if all survivors are slugged and then they're all bots, and then you decide to end the match, do you get points for killing all of those survivors, or do you just get points for what you've gained so far in the game? That is my question. All right, here's what I'm actually interested in. Go next prevention. The go next expression refers to the instances where survivors deliberately does everything in their power to quickly go to their next game, including walking up at the killers and standing still, running to a hook and repeatedly pointing at it, and most commonly intentionally failing skill checks while on hook. To de-incentivize and properly penalize this behavior, we'll be implementing measurements that go to help us and identify when a player is attempting to go next. Once identified, they'll receive a disconnection penalty point and lose an entire grade. We'll be keeping a close eye on this system to ensure its accuracy, but we're confident that this will help alleviate the issue. On the other hand, we'd like to reward players who stick it out through those challenging matches, even when things take a dire turn. We'll be moving forward with a new emblem-based multiplier that grants additional blood points during your following match, with the bonus stacking over consecutive trials. So they're kind of saying, like, if you stay in game and so like your 3 teammates have disconnected, you get some sort of multiplier for your teammates that have disconnected for your next match, and then you get your remaining points for your game if you stay. I feel like survivors, you could definitely abuse that. Like, my first thought is you could straight up get a bunch of matches, like for a new player, for instance. Like, let's say your friend just started playing the game. 3 of your survivor teammates could endure this penalty of whatever it is, or disconnect, leaving a bunch of bots or whatever for your teammate. They get whatever blood points they get. They learn the game a little bit, probably, and then when they go to their next match, their blood points and whatnot, or their experience is multiplied or amplified on top of the already like current blood point event or whatever it is. So I feel like you could abuse that a little bit as survivor, but that's my 2 cents on that. I'm curious as to how that goes. Extreme hiding and body block prevention. Extreme hiding refers to survivors drawing out an unwinnable match by ignoring the objective and waiting out the clock. To combat this, we're changing the way AFK crows operate so they can more accurately identify when a player is deliberately avoiding engagement with the gameplay objective. Once a player receives crows, their location will immediately be revealed to the killer. We'll also be incorporating a feature that allows players to lose collision after receiving a 3rd AFK crow, which should prevent instance of body blocking related griefing. Wait, but that's interesting, I guess. Map offerings. We recognize map offerings are a bit divisive. Some players enjoy them, while other players feel they can grant an unfair advantage. The fact that they are, well, it's because some maps suck. Behavior is because some maps suck and you have to fix those maps. You have to fix the map offerings work. You have to make the map balance so everyone enjoys the game on whatever map they're playing. I'm gonna go ahead and hit you with a Batum. The 5 variants of Batum that we all hate. The fact that they automatically bypass both map and realm repetition system can also add to that frustration. Moving forward, map offerings no longer guarantee the appearance of a map, but rather increase its chances by 20%. Note that they will not stack, so we're also looking into making it so map offerings, as well as several other types of offerings, will remain a secret loading in. That way, your decision to remain in the match will not be swayed by external factors. But you're still gonna show when we load into the match that someone brought a dead dog offering. Things are gonna be secret on the map offering screen so that you actually load in and you waste your time loading into the thing. But then as a killer, you're gonna go AFK, or as a survivor, you're going to on hook. Oh, sorry. As a survivor, you're gonna unalive yourself on hook, and that's just gonna be bad, you know? Like, it doesn't necessarily matter. It's okay. It's frustrating, but I understand why they're doing it. I get it. But I think the ultimate solution to this is just fix the maps. Spawn rules. Survivor spawn placements have been a significant impact on a trial's outcome, an observation that has been repeatedly recognized by our community. It's become clear that survivors spawning separately and thereby covering more ground allows them to gain a notable advantage in completing their objective. We're changing the default survivor rules in spawning to ensure that each survivor will spawn within 12 meters of one another on the same floor if applicable. To accommodate this change, shroud offerings will be adjusted accordingly. I don't exactly know how I feel about that. I feel like that's good and bad, because if you start, I'm assuming they're not going to tell you this, but you're going to start farthest from the killer, because that's usually how the game goes. So if all 4 of you are in the same area, and the killer has like at least 2 brain cells, they should be able to track or remember where survivors went in which direction. So they should be able to remember, once they catch a crowd of running rats, where the people went. Because that's also why one of the shroud offerings are some of the worst offerings in the game. I don't know if anybody knew this or puts this into consideration, but it's just bad. They're bad offerings. Putting yourself together is good for like a couple seconds when you get prove thyself to do half a generator and then the killer interrupts you. So it's not exactly the greatest thing in the world. Players that use AFK bots can be frustrating to have in your trial, and we're working on improvements toward detection systems that can quickly identify and penalize them accordingly. Okay. I don't think I've ever actually run into an AFK bot. I really don't think I have. Maybe I have. I don't know. But if that thins the amount of people that actually don't play the game and it's just bots and whatnot, then yeah, so be it. I would like that. Bulk blood point spending. To speed up general blood web activity, we're adding a button that will allow you to spend blood points in bulk. Very cool. Like just to dump 2 million blood points and just watch it go, or like do that and then go AFK would be amazing and very fun. Quest system. Previously announced last year, the quest system is a part of a larger update to the archives and rifts, so expect more information in an article specifically dedicated to that. For now, know that we'll be reworking the challenge system as well as daily rituals to reduce the grind, make it easier to earn rewards, and increase the overall level of fun. See, I don't mind the rifts the way they are. I really don't. I think the daily quests should change. I think it'd be more entertaining if they were like continually repeating or whatever dailies. There should be like dailies and weeklies like every other thing. But when it comes to the overarching, like, you know, the archive and whatnot that you can go back and do, I feel like it should be easier when it's not the current rift. It should be easier when it's not the current rift to do the archive challenges, because some of them are really bad. Some of them are like, catch a survivor 2 times in the same trap. Or catch 2 different survivors in the same trap, in the same trial as Trapper, without moving it. And it's like, that's insane. That is a real challenge, by the way. I don't think it's exactly worded that way, but it's disgusting. Perk loadouts and preview. After a successful round of A/B testing, we'll be allowing players to see their own perk loadouts while in lobby, as well as adding additional perk loadout slots. Oh, so like up to 6 or something. Okay. We believe these changes will be an overall benefit to Dead by Daylight's health, further establishing a positive gaming environment for all of our players. We'd like to thank you for your patience and understanding during this time. We'll be back at our anniversary broadcast in May to recap Part 1 and provide deeper insight into Part 2 of our roadmaps. Keep an eye out for that announcement. In the meantime, we're looking forward to hearing your thoughts and feedback. Overall, I genuinely don't think that anything here is bad. I think everything here is good, but I think it matters the way they decide to go about it. These aren't exactly in-depth. They specify the problems, is really what this is. They specify the problems with what they currently have, and they don't exactly tell you how they're going to fix them. That's the part that I'm concerned about, and I'm not exactly sure that I'm going to be happy with the results. I understand that a lot of these things are issues. I didn't really even know AFK bots. Sorry, not having bulk blood point spending is kind of cringe, so I think that's cool they fixed that. Quest system is kind of cool that they're changing that. Perk loadout and preview, okay, sure. Like, spawn rules, I'm not exactly sure I'm 100% on board with that, but I get why they want to change how it is. It's beneficial. But that's also, like, This specific rule makes me just it reminds me of the fact that Dead by Daylight is polishing the game for those competitive players that are choosing to play like casual matches with everybody that are doing public matches. Like, when you have games with people that are playing this game competitively, yes, there's an advantage when 4 people start the game on separate generators. The killer decides to chase one of them, and then 3 gens are done. Like, that is a huge competitive advantage. A lot of people know that, but a lot of people don't. The people that play this game competitively, and in a competitive manner, are not given the proper competitive environment to be able to play this, go through a rank system that actually means something, not MMR, and be able to rise in a rank that resets every season and whatnot in order to grind this game competitively, whereas their only option is pubs, so they get to be thrown into this game that they're playing with people that don't know exactly this rule. I'm just saying, like, there's a different mix or a different bag of people that are playing competitive Dead by Daylight and regular Dead by Daylight, that it just doesn't cross boundaries, and they're balancing for both at the same time. They really need to make a separate mode. And I feel like that would alleviate a lot of these issues, including the anti-camp, anti-tunnel precautions they do. And I'm not going to talk too much on this. I feel like I'm going to have a separate video dedicated on this. If you guys would like my opinions and things on that, please let me know in the description below. I've spent a lot of time digesting, reading, etc. for this video. I'll be here when part 2 drops, so be sure to watch and subscribe so that you guys know when that comes out. But that being said, I'm probably going to hop out of here. I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of their day and enjoys their time in the fog. And as always, Asta Gamers.